What's up, everybody? This is hot off the press. YouTube has demonetized the now infamous creator SSSniperwolf, who famously and recently doxed Jacksfilms. And around the same time of her demonetization, Sniperwolf also issued an apology on Twitter. Now, just so we know everything that happened, SSSniperwolf got upset with Jacksfilms because he was consistently criticizing her content. So, when she got upset, she posted a picture of his house uncensored on her Instagram story and said, "Let's talk like adults at Jacksfilms," which is obviously crazy, and any of her crazy fans might have come after him. She essentially doxed him, which is definitely dangerous and potentially illegal. As this blew up on Twitter specifically, and everyone got really upset at Sniperwolf, basically saying that even though she could have possibly had a harassment case because of the things that Jacksfilms was doing, she threw away any possibility she had at sympathy because she doxed him, which is just absolutely not allowed, one of the huge no-nos. In the wake of this, a lot of people started pulling up old videos of hers in which she was asking underage people to do things like twerk for her, saying that she'll show and then also this one, which recently blew up, in which she asked an underage girl, who in the video says that she is 16, to flash her boobs at the camera. Now, there is a possibility that this was staged in some way, but as it stands and as the video was intended to be watched, it is her encouraging an underage minor to do something sexually explicit. So, this and other things had blown up in Sniperwolf's face. Everyone was very, very upset about it, but very notably, Sniperwolf and YouTube both stayed almost completely silent about it, with YouTube just saying that they were discussing internally what, if any, action should be taken until very recently. Now, YouTube just released this a couple of hours ago and said, "Update, SSSniperwolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per the creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put other personal safety at risk, harm our community, and the behavior from both creators isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better position." A better place. Right about that same time, and when I say right about, I mean almost exactly at the same time, SSSniperwolf released this statement on her Twitter. "Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jacksfilms, YouTube, the entire creator community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example of appropriate conflict resolution. Jacksfilms, while we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences," which seems like a bit of an understatement, "I am sorry for reacting the way I did. I should have taken the opportunity to show young creators how adults and professionals resolve conflicts by communicating directly," which is ironic because she said, "Let's talk like adults." But anyway, we're going to move on. "Respectfully and privately, not for views or content, but a meaningful example of how conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. I'd like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. I deserve it. Respect the decision and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from this true lapse in judgment." Now, people in the comments are really very much not having it. The only ones that she's replied to are people who are supporting her for it, of which I should be clear there are very few, such as this Ja Diaz guy. "Always here to support you, Leah, blah, blah, blah." She hearted it, so on and so forth. Some other people were really not having it. The Real Sully G, who's been very vocally critical and had a couple of viral tweets about the situation, says, "We all know this isn't sincere. You wanted to do one thing, make someone you didn't like feel unsafe in their own home. Congratulations, you did it. You truly care about, quote, the entire creator community. Do us a favor and leave the platform." Which is essentially the sentiment that most people reflected, considering that she got absolutely ratioed into oblivion. Other people, "You're only apologizing because YouTube is stopping your monetization for a week. You don't care about anyone except yourself." I don't think this is true. I think she has enough money to where a couple of weeks of lost monetization will not really be a big issue for her. Very mature of you, and clearly not part of whatever plea deal you had with YouTube that would allow you to walk away with a slap on the wrist. Tweeting this almost immediately after YouTube makes a comment too. "Great, very cool, thank you." And this is one of the things that I wanted to address. It does seem like, and I could be completely wrong about here, Sniperwolf struck some kind of a deal on the back end with YouTube where she receives a small slap, issues an apology, and then everyone hopes that this just gets swept under the rug, because the punishment does not in any way fit the crime. The crime, allegedly, was doxing another creator, which, if you're part of the creator community or keep up with the creator community, is pretty much the absolute worst thing you can do, because that can be directly dangerous. Deranged fans have in the past caused harm to creators when they figure out their address. And ultimately, I think this is a pretty bad situation because nothing is really going to happen to her. A few weeks of lost monetization when you're a multi-million, possibly worth tens of millions of dollars, is essentially nothing. She's going to be just fine. And once she gets it back, she's going to continue on as if this never happened. She'll keep posting and start making making money again soon, and we'll be right back where we started with her stealing content and Jack and probably other creators on YouTube criticizing her for it. That kind of dynamic does not look like it's going to change. This is both a nothing burger of an apology because it may or may not have actually been written by an AI, which some of the other people in the comments seem to point out, but it's also a nothing burger of a punishment. And this could be potentially dangerous because it might serve to a beacon to other creators who get upset that doxing is not that bad of a thing on YouTube. And worst case scenario, you'll get a couple of weeks of lost monetization, but best case scenario, maybe YouTube will just ignore it like they did for the first week. I strongly believe that if the community had not risen up and been so outspoken against this, nothing at all would have happened to SSSniperwolf, because as it is, basically nothing at all has happened to SSSniperwolf. But as depressing as that is, sometimes that's just life and the good guys don't always win. I genuinely think this is the end of the situation. I don't think YouTube is going to do anything else. I think SSSniperwolf will continue to post videos, and I don't know what's going to happen with Jacksfilms because now he knows that essentially he's at risk because no matter what happens, you can't close Pandora's box. You can't put that milk back in the bottle. His address, or a picture of his house from which his address can be easily gotten, is now out there. And so if he continues to criticize SSSniperwolf, there is a distinct possibility that a crazy fan will find the picture and show up at his house. And that's not worth his safety. It's not worth his wife's safety. So that's where we are. It's really disappointing, but if there are any more significant updates, I promise to let you know.